YouTube. Matthias coming at you again. Looking at all OGs here. These are all 98s. I've seen a couple of these before on previous videos. One on the left here is my recent pickup. And these two I had for a while. I'm actually parting ways with the one in the middle. Black Toe he got games. Got them fully restored, as good as I can get them, and found a slightly fresher pair and decided to jump on them. And love to have a second pair for beaters, but I just can't afford it right now. Can't afford the space, can't afford the dollars. Need something to offset these, so did want to give a quick update on the final progress of these. The only thing I've been really lazy about is not using a Mr. Clean on the sole that comes up, pods I guess you would call them or whatever. But the shoe is completely done. I have worn them twice. There's no issues at all. They are fully re-laminated. There's no separation in there. I mean, besides, you could get a knife blade in it, and that's about it. I do that on a brand new shoe. But yeah, the glue has held really well. Let's give an indication here. There is nothing coming apart there, boys. So yeah, they are fully wearable and back the way they should be, as good as they can be anyway. Tempted to try to decrease these with an iron. I've done it before on, no, it was my black and red ones, but anyway, I don't know, we'll see. I might take the time to do it. It worked really well on my my Hair 8s from 02. They actually dropped in 03, but say 02 on the tag. Anyway, they worked really well on that. You do have to keep them really wet, and you can't let them get too hot or it will literally start delaminating the toe, which is my main concern on these, being that I had to re-glue them in the first place. I don't know if I want to deal with that or not. In the end, they're just creases. I don't really know if I care enough. But learned a good lesson though about not using a suede brush. Look at my older videos for that. These ones only saw the horsehair brush, 100% horsehair. It was actually an extremely soft horsehair brush. You can get them a little stiffer. I would probably recommend something a little medium. And it was like a light colored one. I know they make like black ones that tend to be stiffer. I don't know if they get dyed after the fact or if they come like that right off the horse or whatever the story is. But anyway, horsehair or bust on this sueded nubuck. You do not want to use anything else. It looks nice and clean. You can tell it's not seeing any hair raising issues going on here. So yeah, they're looking pretty decent. That was the one scuff that I had to clean up with some quickie. Got the leather nice and shiny without getting too crazy about it. I don't want it to look plasticky. Just make it look new, as new as I can. And these are the other ones I restored. I've had to re-glue these several times. They're as re-glued as they can get. They're not going anywhere, that's for sure. But there is quite a bit of glue in there, so they're not going any place but on feet. But at the same time, it has a kind of a permanent separation at the top. But there's truly nothing I can do about that. I'd have to literally gut that out, which would probably risk serious damage to the shoe just to re-glue it again. I don't know if it would make it any better. So I'm selling these bad boys. And this is my latest pickup, same shoe, but just to see the difference, I'll flip these over. Granted, I just had the pleasure of hair drying these bad boys, so these are looking nice and reflective. They're cool. But these I've worn once last week, and they are damn near dead stock. They were probably worn about 5 times, I'm gonna guess, before got them. But for being 13 years old, I mean, that's like the only sign of wear right there. And they're you can kind of tell like this is a little more flattened out versus this is more raised. But yeah, even the soles are really clean on them. And yeah, I was just happy to find something that old in that good a shape. Got them for a pretty good deal. I paid $130 for these shipped. Honestly, I like to get about that out of these because I think I got these for a steal, but I'd be happy to probably get a little over $100 out of these. Just enough to make it worth my while to sell them, because otherwise I just keep them as a rockable pair in all weather. Because they're certainly wearable, and I got them looking really good. I mean, leather and everything's really clean on them. The only thing is, you know, this is the one where I mentioned I had to use was looking forward to using a lint remover or a fuzz buster. There's like 1,000 names for them. You can see kind of how the hairs got kicked up. You can contrast it to something. Yeah, you can kind of see it on the edge there if you look really close. And it's a minute detail. I mean, again, it's like you're only going to know as the owner of the shoe. You never know wearing them. It's just like impossible to see. But anyway, I do got to show off the holograms on these because they're really clear. But anyway, you can kind of tell if you catch these in the right light that they are a bit fuzzier, bit picked on and whatnot, versus the pair that's new to me is really, you know, suede like the playoffs are. Anyway, this is the fuzz buster I bought. Got it with a 20% off coupon at Bed Bath & Beyond, I think. And it has this cover, which it worked good for towels or whatever, but for the shoe, which I was really afraid of at first because I know these things can overcut, but the shoe could take quite a bearing. You could really put a load down on it and still just barely trim the edges off the fuzz here. I can kind of give a quick demonstration if I can set this up in a way that will show it off. Hopefully it'll stay put. But basically get that going. Anyway, you get the idea. It's an Evercare brand. Just to show you what that ends up looking like. I've already done it before, so it's probably not going to change much. And you do got to be careful about the edges of the white leather because it will pull that up. I've already kind of refinished that area quite a bit, but there's little tiny, like really surface scuffs like that. But for the most part, it's as good as it can get. Anyway, yeah, it's still a little rough. It did take down the. I mean, there's a nice shot. Get the lighting just the way I need it. It did knock down the hairs. They were way taller than that before I bought the fuzz buster, but it's still not quite as ideal as it, you know, otherwise could be. But again, this could have happened with time as opposed to me using a nylon brush. And they are very clean. Just a little extra hairy. So, just a word to the wise: don't use a nylon brush on these. Use horsehair only. And you know, like I said, it's a minute detail. It's really hard to tell. I mean, even that you can just barely see the fuzz sticking out. But this does work. It just doesn't work as good as I'd like it to. I even tried shaving with a shaver and my electric razor, and then desanitized it. But that didn't really help either. It's just kind of the way they are. So that's why synthetic products just don't work quite as well as you know, the real deal. So, such as my red suede 5s, which I wore these all day. Went to Big Beat at a world's should probably set a world record for most drummers playing the same song at the same time. I was interconnected amongst 16 cities, but with these in my drum set, I won first place for best drum set in the venue. So anyway, That's real suede, boys and girls, and this I just protected with some suede spray, and they are dialed. Anyway, thanks for watching and subscribing. There's the 13s, and have a good one.